episode of Tell Your Story. I'm your host, Todd Nesloni, the Director of Culture and Strategic Leadership at TEPSA. And each episode, I look to bring you a different guest who has encouraged, inspired, or challenged me in one way or another and bring them on to tell some of their story in hopes that it inspires you to tell some of yours. I am so thrilled for this episode to have my friend Heather Patterson on with me today. Heather, tell everybody a little bit about who you are.
Hi, my name is Heather. Thank you for having me, first of all. I'm super
Yeah.
excited to be here. But my name's Heather Patterson. I have been a principal for 15 years, a long time. I've opened two different schools. I've opened an elementary campus, and I've also opened a sixth grade campus. And this year was asked to go to the high school that feeds into where my kids are. So kids that I had since elementary are now feeding into my high school. So it's pretty super cool.
I love that. Well, thinking about, you getting started in education, when you were growing up, did you always know you wanted to be a teacher?
No, I wanted to be a marine biologist, and then I wanted to
Really?
be an airline stewardess, and then I realized that I had to be a lot smaller. All these restrictions, and I really didn't like. And my husband always teases me. He's like, "Really? I can't imagine you as anything other than that." Because interacting with people just like this, with other educators, with kids, it's energy, and I can't. This whole being isolated away from people for extroverts is really a struggle right now.
I can imagine. Well, how long did you teach in the classroom before you made the leap into administration?
5 years. So I
And
was.
so, so what made you decide that administration was the next step for you?
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of peer pressured into it a little bit. I had our district had started cohorts, so they started doing cohorts for administration, and several of my friends were like, "Hey, it'll be fun." They said it'll be great. They said, and they said join us, and so I did, and it's the best decision that I ever made. I wouldn't go back and change it for anything, even right now in the middle of fun times.
Well, I have always been impressed by you and your attitude and the creative things you do. And so you always seem to exude this really uplifting, positive demeanor. Is that something is that easy for you to put out there? Or is that something you're like, okay, I got to get in the right mindset to be able to bring this person to the people every day?
It's harder for me to tuck it in. You know how they say you need to tuck it in because you're going to scare all your introverts? That's me. And then jumping from elementary, because I'm an elementary person at heart, lots of glitter. I like glitter and tutus and all that fun stuff. I haven't changed. It's just ingrained in me. So the positive side, I have to it's not hard. I'm pretty much a half full girl.
Yeah.
But I have to remember to not everybody can take all of that at one time. So making sure that you're doing it in spurts where people, manageable for everybody, to keep everybody just uplifted during trying times.
Well, you've mentioned how you went from elementary and just recently now you are at a high school. And I know that's elementary and high school are two different worlds. I mean, I always say, the kids aren't that different. They cuss the same amount. Some are just taller than others sometimes. But I know that it really is a different world, not only with the kids, but with the parents, with the expectations, with the teachers and staff. And so what have you found has been the biggest learning curve for you?
Just taking these kids, like you said, they're still kids. They're just in big bodies. So they're in big bodies and they think they're grown and all of that. So the biggest learning curve is when I first came in, they all thought, oh, you're going to treat me like I'm in elementary, or, oh, you're going to treat me like I'm in a middle school, like I was at Polly Ryan. And I was like, no, I'm going to treat you how you act. Well, they act like little kids. So sometimes you have to. But I said, here's the rules, here's my expectations, where can we meet in the middle? So I think it's like, and that was with staff too. When I came in with my staff and with my parents, it's just communication up front, and being able to meet in the middle. Like what's really important, what are the things that we're not going to move from one side to the other on. These are my hard stances, and I have these pillars that I just believe in. And so what can I do to help people want to buy in because they believe in it? And so far so good. So
Well, Heather, I know that you also you've started moving into this realm of get out there and sharing some of the brilliant strategies that you're doing and how much fun y'all are having. Were you always that confident in your own voice about getting in front of others and kind of sharing things?
I think I don't mind being silly. So I think that, so I don't know that it's confidence. It's just,
Mhm.
I love learning from people. So I take everything in. Like when, I've seen you present and I go in there, I just drink it in, drink it in, drink it in. And I think the more that we, can just share out with everybody and know that we're all in this together. It's not this is a Heather thing or this is a Todd thing. It's an educator thing. This is good for kids. And so if we're, not just to play off of what you said, but kids do deserve that.
Mhm.
If you're not willing to share and you're not willing to do those things that are working for your staff to keep them motivated or your kids, then we don't need to be here.
Right.
I'll be honest with you.
Well, you exude this fun, and like you said, I've seen you in a tutu before. I know you bring this energy and things, but obviously, even though you found success in that and you are comfortable in your own skin, I'm sure doubt still sometimes tries to creep back in, or that comparison fear. How do you deal with that not overcoming and keeping you from being at your best?
I think you just got to keep trying. I do something with, I call myself pressure with support. I think we learn a lot under pressure. Like what we're on right now, our learning curve is giant. So
Mhm.
within 1 week, we have gone to online school. What
Yeah.
100% basically online. Grades are following, but that's what I tell my staff. In 1 week, you have created this online school for these kids to participate and engage in. And I think and I tell my staff all the time, and I tell myself this. I give myself pep talks too. You have to do that because
Mhm.
some days are harder than others. We know that, but comparison is the thief of joy, and I
Mhm.
totally believe that. And
Mhm.
you can't compare yourself to any other leader. You are who you are,
Right.
but as long as you're trying. That means, and if you're making mistakes, you're trying, and that's all I'm asking. If we are trying, and you have kids at the forefront of everything you choose, then I think you can't go wrong. Even when you make mistakes, you just tell them I'm sorry.
Well, and I think that that's such good advice for people to hear. And you mentioned that we're in this world now of unexpected. It came out of nowhere, and we had to create all these things and doing all, and it's just a lot. And so even and I'm not out of school this year, but I find myself at times just getting overwhelmed thinking about our kids, and
Mhm.
then the pressure put on the teachers, and then the pressure put on the administration and the superintendent and all those other kind of things. And I know being at a high school now, you've got that other thought running through your head of
Mhm.
graduations and prom and all these other things. How do you hold it all together during this time of crisis?
I do that. I have freak out moments like everybody else does. But I try to be the calm in the storm for everybody.
Yeah.
That's what but I'm transparent. Like I freak out too. I'm sad too. I am so sad. This is going to be the first graduation that I get to do with my kids. And 90% of these kids that I have this year in high school, I've had as sixth graders. So
Aw.
this would be like a full circle moment for us. So as that sounds very like all about me, and it's not, but I was like, I wanted to experience that with them. So
Mhm.
I am sad as well. So I'm trying to work through that, those feelings for me and for how they're feeling and to make them feel validated.
Yeah.
Because, people are like, it's just graduation. Well, when you're 30, it was just graduation, but it's not when you're
Yeah.
17, 18 years old. It's
Yeah.
everything.
Mhm. No, and I think you're exactly right. Well, shifting gears just a little bit, when you look at your life and the ups and downs, the celebrations and the failures, and all the things you've been through, personally and professionally,
Mhm.
what is one of those that really sticks out to you that you think was really instrumental in creating the woman you are today?
I think more than anything is understanding that when you struggle, like being able to be transparent. So as soon as I learned that it's okay to show people, I don't know, I have no idea what the answer
Mhm.
is, and being vulnerable
Right.
and apologizing when you make a mistake, because heavens knows, as a leader, I make mistakes all the
Mhm.
time. And I've been so blessed with staffs that I've been able to connect to and that have forgiven me for when I make mistakes. But I think if you just show you're real, and just the little stuff of because you're not going to be perfect, and if
Yeah.
you ever try to act like you got it all together all the time, that is
Mhm.
just not the reality of it. And I think people will buy in and trust
Mhm.
you when they know that they're seeing the real deal, like
Yeah.
and that they know you struggle too.
Right. Well, who is somebody in your life that has played a really big role in your in helping create who you are?
Oh my gosh, I have so many people.
I bet.
Yeah, I do. I just on, in my family, just
Mhm.
as just everyone, just people in my family, my husband, my just supportive on that side, and I have
Yeah.
that. But I would say in, education, was starting with someone that placed me kind of in this role in the first place. And Beth Dow was my principal at, she was, when I was a teacher under her, and she goes, I think you would be a really good leader when I was trying to, if I want to do this or not, this whole leadership thing. And then she took me as her assistant principal and opened a school with me. And so
Aw.
she was my principal that then pushed me. And, she's kind of the philosophy, and it's kind of like I've taken on of just kind of put your foot on their behind and push you out, push the
Mhm.
birdie out of the nest. That was hers. But she was a big picture thinker, and she just let me grow. And I owe her a lot because I feel that I got the innovative, fun, but driven side.
Mhm.
She's that person that kind of put me in that role. And then I fed it by reading. Like
Yeah.
I read, and just did the different books, and Dave Burgess and I mean, your books are amazing and too, and I've used so much of Kids Deserve It with my staff. And but also just so many people. Stephanie McConnell from Principals
Mhm.
Principal, she
Yeah.
shares stuff so much. So it's my colleagues, my district level. I think the key is connection.
Yeah.
If you can figure out how to connect with those people that are your tribe that
Mhm.
feed you that positive, good for kids type of thing, it's contagious. You can't
Yeah.
contain that, I think.
I totally agree. Now, but when you look at all the things you've done, what's something that you're really proud of that you've accomplished?
I think making the jump from here.
And
Um,
surviving?
you can imagine, how my eyes get big a lot. I'm very animated. I can't talk without my hands. If they tied behind my back, my mama always said you wouldn't be able to talk. For sure. So, when I was first approached about moving to the high school, I'm like, are you serious? Like, what's going on? And so then I've never been one to back away from a challenge.
Mhm.
And they're like, but they're your kids. And I'm like, you're right. And the more I thought about it, I said, give me 30 seconds. And so I processed through it. But just seeing where I started in last summer before I knew this was going to happen to because I didn't know till May. So last May I found out. And then to be sitting in this role now and I'm proud of myself. And I
Yeah.
don't say that very often, but you made me think about that. I'm super proud of where
Mhm.
this team, I have an amazing admin team that just jumped on board. My staff jumped on board, and so a lot of people give high school a bad rap. I'm not going to lie. Like, they're not going to want to do all that fun team building and all of that. And they've been amazing. So I'm super proud of that. That's the most proud thing I am at this point right
Well,
now.
I think that really goes back into it's all about the expectations you set. Because I talk with educators all the time where they'll say things like, "Oh yeah, that works great for second grade, but that's not going to work for my 10th graders." And I'm like, "Uh, I've worked with a high school senior before who worked way harder for a sticker than a 5-year-old did.
Right.
And in Texas, we have major pep
I have
rallies.
stickers,
And see, why does that not surprise me at all?
smelly stickers. I totally have smelly stickers.
See, but it's stuff like that, and it's like when you think about the kids and people think, well, the costumes isn't for secondary, and I'm like, have you been to a pep rally? Like we go all out in secondary for pep rallies and things like that. Like it's all in the expectation you set, and if you are having fun and okay with looking a little silly, they may not come on board with you right away, but they're gonna get there because they're like, I don't want to miss out on that. She's having so much fun.
And I took that into the lunchroom. And so on Fridays, we started game day because, you know, high school kids, all they want to do is be on their phone. So I was like, how can we connect with these kids? So I'll walk around with a game, any kind of game, checkers or anything, different headbands, all kinds
Uh-huh.
of things. And I'm like, if you play with me, I'll give you a smelly sticker. And they'll be like, really? And then after a while, like about a week, couple weeks into it, like, you got those stickers? So they put them on the back of their IDs. So I think that we forget that these big kids need that connection, if not more
Yeah.
than what we're even doing with our younger kids.
Well, you know, and they're going through so many changes in their
Oh, yeah.
life to begin with that that reminder of what it's like to be a little kid. I mean, for me, I'd even love a sticker now. Like even as
Right.
I mean, and see, and if you go and look at on 90% of teachers' laptops, they're covered in stickers.
Yes.
They've collected. They're the
Yes.
adult version of stickers, but they're still stickers.
Yes. I gave stickers out for the adults wearing their IDs because we
Uh-huh.
pushed a big thing on IDs being worn. And I'm like, oh, you have your ID on. I was giving everybody stickers and it makes you smile. There's something
Yeah,
about a sticker,
I
but you
love
have
that.
to, the smelly ones are the best. They're
I love
definitely the
that.
best. Yeah.
Well, Heather, one question that I always love to end these conversations on is, you know, thinking big picture, there's all kinds of people who listen to this podcast, educators, parents, non-educators, whatever. If there is one thing that is really on your heart that you wish more people knew or understood, what would your one thing be? And it doesn't have to be about education. It can be about anything. Just one thing that is really important to you that you wish more people knew or understood.
I would say grace.
Mm,
Giving people grace. The times we're living in right now has really opened my eyes to, and that's what I've asked my parents and students, just a little grace.
yeah.
When we're all learning at the same pace, because parents are learning how to be teachers at home, which is very interesting too. But the let's give them a little grace. They haven't ever done it. Let's give our
Mhm.
staff a little grace. This has been 1 week and we're online and no, it's not going to be perfect. And no, it's going to have bumps in the roads. And just have a little grace,
Yeah.
kindness, practice kindness, and just have a
Mhm.
little grace and know that we're in this for your kids
I
all the
love that. Well,
time.
Heather, you have been such an inspiration of mine. I love your energy. I love your ideas. Like I am still when we school gets back in session, I have to come see
You
what
have to
you're
come
doing.
see me for sure.
So thank you so much for sharing some
Okay.
time with me on Tell Your Story.
Thanks for having me. I'm so honored. Y'all have a great day.
And thank you everybody for listening or watching another episode of Tell Your Story. Remember, you can check out past episodes on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcasts, it's there. I hope today's conversation with Heather has inspired you to get out there and tell your story because every story matters. And